Relics, especially Axii relics, can be difficult to farm efficiently. In this video I will show you the best ways and my favorite ways to get each type of relic. I will also show some other options of farming relics, with some not being from the missions at all. This video should be pretty short, but before I get started with the relics, let me first say that I will include all the probabilities for each option I state, just so you know the types of relics that option can drop, how often and how likely it is to get said relic. Now with all of that said, let's start off with the best way to get Lith relics. Lith relics are by far the easiest relics to farm for. These will be the first relics you get if you're new to Warframe. You can get these by doing pretty much any defense, survival, excavation, or interception on the earlier planets like Venus, Earth, and Mars. Just the low level planets like that. However, my favorite way to farm Lith relics is for efficiency, which is on Hepit on Void. This is a low level capture mission, and if you have a speedy frame or you just know how to move quickly, then you should be able to finish this in about 1 minute, farming around 3 to 4 relics in the time it takes to complete 5 waves of defense or 5 minutes of survival. So this is obviously much more efficient. Again, there are other ways, but this is the quickest. However, this can also be very boring. I would suggest if you want to have some fun and upgrade frames or weapons, do low level survivals. Meso relics are also pretty easy. If you're someone who has played Warframe for a while and you still are, then you likely have a ton of Meso and Lith relics. Meso relics kind of follow the same method as Lith relics, more of that middle tier of the star chart, planets like Mars, Jupiter, Ceres, and other around that range. My favorite place for Meso relics would have to be Yuko on Void. This is also a capture mission, however there is also a chance of getting a Neo relic. Another common and popular spot to farm Meso relics is Olympus on Mars. This is a disruption mission, a theme that you'll see in this video, which is a simple but more entertaining mission. I'll quickly explain how to do this mission when I talk about Neo relics next. You can always do Io on Jupiter for the first 10 waves. Again, like Lith relics, this option is the quickest. However, this is split with Neo relics, so you may get unlucky and get a bunch of Neo relics instead of Meso relics. But it only takes a minute, so you can weigh out the pros and cons yourself and see which you prefer. I do both, but I normally go with the capture mission. Also, most of the time, if you do a survival, defense, or any mission with waves, you will get a relic that is above whatever relic you start out getting. For example, if you farm for Meso relics on Jupiter, and when you finish wave 15, you'll get a Neo relic. But before then, you would get a Meso relic for completing waves 5 and 10. Now with Neo relics, you may have a guess that I'm going to say Yuko on Void, since it's a capture mission that can also give Neo relics. However, this is not the best place for Neo relics in my opinion. Best spot for Neo relics is Ur on Uranus. This mission is an infested disruption mission which is pretty simple to do. Now you may be asking why I didn't pick the disruption mission for Meso, and to answer that I would just say preference. The one on Ur seems to be more consistent for me, and the Olympus one on Mars just isn't as entertaining for me either. Plus the Neo relics are less common than Meso relics, so it's nicer to do Ur and get a ton in one long go. If you don't know, a disruption mission involves you picking up a key, bringing it to its matching node, and activating it. Once activated, you have to find the target that's trying to destroy the node. If you're doing it by yourself, at most activate 2 at a time. That's if you have a good weapon, since they deactivate your abilities. If you're in a squad, then it shouldn't matter that much. This mission is on more of the fun side of things, since there are seemingly always enemies making it entertaining and not so boring. I feel that this is the best mission for Neo relics. Getting relics every time you complete a wave, which is completing all 4 nodes, can make you gain a bunch quickly without even realizing it. Axii relics by far are the toughest relics to farm for. An honorable mention for these relics is the infested excavation mission on Pluto. But like any mission like an excavation or defense, they scale the higher you go. Like I mentioned earlier, Lith relics are at a low rank, and as it goes up, the level of relics goes up with it. Lith to Meso, Meso to Neo, and Neo to Axii. Obviously this isn't always the case, but it is most of the time. So the higher level missions will give you Axii relics. Now what's the best Axii spot? This method is similar to the previous one for Neo relics that I mentioned, since this mission is also a disruption mission, located on Apollo Lua. If you're confused and you don't know what Lua is, then you need to do some quest. Anywho, Apollo is obviously similar to the mission Ur. As long as you have a good weapon, the waves go by quickly. I pretty much always get an Axii relic here. Sometimes I've had a Neo relic after the first wave, but the rest will be Axii relics. There aren't many spots to farm for Axii relics, which can be frustrating, so you're limited on spots to farm for these relics. But again, this should be entertaining since it's pretty engaging. I personally enjoy this mission, but I also have the Taurid Incarnate that can just blast through anything. So as long as you have one good weapon that can carry you, you should have no problem with flying through these missions. Requiem relics are pretty easy to get. There are a few ways, and these methods are really ranked just by enjoyment. You can get Requiem relics by killing Kuva thralls or sister hounds, so you can easily stack up on these relics if you're just trying to get Kuva or Tenet weapons. Another way to get these relics are from Kuva Siphon or Kuva Flood missions. These missions are the same, but the Kuva Flood mission have the high level enemies in it, with this being levels 80 to 100 and the normal Kuva Siphon missions being levels 25 to 35. Requiem relics, if you did not know, are mainly for Requiem mods. These mods are used for those Kuva and Tenet liches. Again, pretty easy to get, and there aren't many options. Also, you can only open these relics on the Kuva Fortress, and there will always be at least one mission available for you to open this relic. Now, lastly, another way to get all of these relics besides Requiem relics is through relic packs. There are many ways to purchase and acquire these relic packs. One simple way is through syndicates, the normal 6 syndicates that you can pledge to. Once you rank up and are able to get 20,000 standing, you can purchase relic packs. These relic packs give you 3 relics with a chance of either replacing a relic or more. There are other options in terms of purchasing relic packs. You can go to the gem or orb person at Cetus, Fortuna, and Necrolisk and purchase a relic pack for 20,000 standing there as well. Lastly, if you're far into the game and complete the Steel Path mission a lot, you could purchase packs from Teshin as well. Now that is about it for this short video. I hope you all found this useful and easy to understand. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. You can always DM me on Instagram or TikTok, but preferably Instagram. Those will be linked below. Now with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.